Hello and welcome to Hero Celebrity Clash League, the league with all of your favorite celebrities in the Heroes of the Storm community. My name is NotParadox, and I will be casting this lovely event. Here with me, five-time NGS Grand Finals caster, Tespa co-caster, and co-host, Heroes Hype Premier Series North America caster, Lord of his domain, and Master of Bandit, the goodest of boys, my friend and co-caster Bahamut. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. I was not expecting an introduction like that. I did. Good thing I wasn't the one who wrote the introduction this week. But no, I'm doing wonderful. I have been pumped all week for these matches, and I've done minimal research, as we've all seen through Twitter.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. The format of the games played, we have four very exciting teams. They'll be playing against each other in a format that we call Round Robin. Bahamut, could you quickly give us a rundown of what Round Robin is for those who don't know? What are the pros and cons? Why do we use Round Robin instead of other tournament formats?
The best part about Round Robin here is going to be the fact that we're going to be able to see every team play each other. So everyone is at least going to get one best of three against each other. And then that will, determine who's actually going to make it to that final week to go up against each other for a best of five series to determine who's actually the best team in our league. But realistically, Round Robin it gives you the opportunity to see what everyone's able to bring to the table. And it gives us more games and more fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. And it's just awesome to get to see every team versus every team. So in case there was a rivalry, you don't see one rival get eliminated too early or whatever. So I just really love it. I think it's a lot of fun. So who are we going to be seeing today? The teams have chosen their own names, and we have four very, very exciting teams. Starting off, I'm going to go in the order that we're going to be seeing them in the event today, which is Upstanding Citizens. We'll be seeing Mewnfare. We'll be seeing Turk. We'll be seeing AlexDidz, Aullora, Coffee. We have the KT-Ls. We have LeonBlack, Liam, Lakefu, Kagirii, Tatski. Easy Money, which is a phrase we hear all too often from Mockery, and just so happens Mockery's on the team with Zane Hyde, Tim from Hero Fitness, Kid Kerrigan, and Kyle Ferguson. Down to Dongle is the last team, which has Kyberries, Trixler, Selenity, Vipey, and Casanova. And that is a very familiar team to us because they have been undefeated in the previous celebrity ones. And that's rough for me to say because they did defeat my team, which my team was so good too. But they took down my team in the previous celebrity clash. Any of those particular teams catch your eye, Baha?
I mean, I said it really quickly, but me personally, I lean a little bit into the KT-Ls. LeonBlack is actually a really strong player, in my opinion, and I think he's going to be able to lead his group very, very well. Lakefu's an amazing healer, if I'm also remembering her role correctly. So I think they are a little bit of our underdog in a sense, but they're also going to be that dark horse, as I was talking about. We can talk all day about Down to Dongle, how they have this stacked roster of really strong players, but I think it's going to be the other teams that are going to catch us off guard and maybe bring out something, I don't know. Cho'Gall just got a buff today. Maybe Tim from Heroes of Fitness can pull Mockery into a Gull, and they can run it down, I don't know, probably Infernal Shrines, Tomb of Spider Queen, any map that Cho'Gall's good on. So I'm excited to see some of those unique pickups that might throw off this repeating championship of Down to Dongle and maybe just kind of disrupting all of that. But overall, I think we've got so many good teams, so many good players, and so many amazing matches for everyone at home.
Of course. And before we get into all of the nitty gritty, all of the fun, guys, if you like CCL, if you love Heroes Hearth events, you can show it to us in a million different ways. But for this particular event for CCL, we do have an awesome sponsor. We have a sponsor, Duke Cannon, the manly yet sophisticated hygiene brand. If you want to smell like anything from campfire to fresh pine to, I believe they have a World War II scent in there. I don't know exactly what that smells like. I'm not sure if I really want to know. Leather? They have leather as one of their smells. I mean, yeah, all sorts of stuff. You get to check out their big ass brick of soap, which is about this big, and it's just awesome. They've got a bunch of cool products, and By just watching this event, you can save 15% by going over there, typing in HHE15 into the thing. You'll save 15%. But there's also a giveaway, and that will be revealed a little bit further as we get going, and we will talk about the word that you need to type in to enter that giveaway as we get there. But wait, there's more. So another way that you guys can help this event out is by donating. All of the donations, all of the bits, everything that you do is going to help us keep this event going. It's going to entice these celebrities to continue playing by increasing their prize pool, but it's also going to make sure that it keeps this whole thing running very smooth. So make sure that you can always be donating and adding anything else to this prize pool. But
Paradox, I gotta cut you off. Someone just heard your entire ramble and gave 5,000 bits. Angry Dwarf in chat, and then Matlock just gonna be dumping a bunch in there as well. See, I'm currently casting, so someone's gonna have to do the math for me on that one. But either way, that right there, that's exactly how you can get money into the prize pool to, I don't know, make these games a little more sweaty as well. The more money that is in this, the more I feel like these players are going to be trying to pull out unique things as well as some dominating compositions. Maybe we see some crazy heavy dive compositions into something that's more control, and they actually have to force these fights consistently. So it's the more that is on the line, the more that these teams are going to be really, really trying to, well, body each other throughout the entire weeks. And I'm so ecstatic about this. NotParadox. The one thing I actually wanted to jump to really quickly is that we didn't really get to look into it too much. We have a schedule for this evening, I do believe, and we can actually at least let everyone know what teams are going to be battling it out, because we went through all the players, we went through all that good stuff. But we do have 2 best of 3s this evening for everyone at home. The league format, for anyone that is wondering, is going to be 3 weeks of league play, as we were discussing earlier, with the round robin, and that's going to be best of 3s for all of those. But each week, we're going to be having 2 best of 3s. This week, match 1 will be Upstanding Citizens versus the KT-Ls, and then match number 2 will be that Easy Money versus the repeating champions Down to Dongle. And maybe Easy Money will dethrone them in week 1, and we'll already have an interesting storyline to start out here. But I'm super excited about this. I'm jumping all over the place myself, but I'm hopefully, well, I know I'm ready, but I hope we're ready to actually be able to get into game number 1 very, very soon here.
Oh, definitely. So speaking of those teams, we've got the schedule going. What are the 2 teams we're going to be seeing today? We've got Upstanding Citizens. Anyone stick out in that team for you? I know personally, I mean, I see Turk and I see his crazy picks. But I mean, for you, Baha, what do you see in this team number 1?
Mewnfare in the past has been a very, very strong Heroes of Storm player, and they've been around Heroes of Storm forever. I mean, they played with Trixler a ton, and there's tons of games that I've seen that man play, and he's held high GM for a long time. But I think on that team, a little bit of a sleeper is going to be AlexDidz. We were joking about it a little bit, but that man actually has an insanely strong roster, and then you also have Coffee on that team. So it's not, I don't think it's just one unique player for them. I think it's a lot of the roster and how it actually synergizes very well together. And then just to quickly jump to the other side, I think they've got a lot of great prowess on the side of the KT-Ls with LeonBlack leading that team. They've also got Vespertine as well, which if memory serves me correctly, they're a very strong melee assassin player. I might be wrong on that fact, but So Liam, I can share a little bit. Liam has actually filled in and subbed for pro teams all the way since 2017, normally for the off-lane role. But he's definitely filled in for a variety of different areas. So we will probably be seeing him most likely as an off-laner with Leon tanking. But I don't know. We're in the draft. Let's get right into it and see what we've got. Of course, we've got the Deathwing ban. Uther ban's very common right now, purely because people are running that double support with him either in the solo or as a tank. Anything that you're expecting, maybe a target ban from either of these teams? Anything unique? We might, of course, still probably an Ariel ban, but I think they consider it. If I'm on a team that does have first pick, like the members of the KT-Ls, I'd be looking to try and maybe force the enemy team to do that. But did I just hear correctly? We had $100 tip come in.
$100 tip.
1,000 bits. 1,000 bits. Okay.
1,000 bits. Okay.
It still is, but I was just like cash money coming in. But either way, bits are bits and cash is cash. Thank you so much.
$100.
Okay.
And 1,000 bits.
And 1,000 bits.
Whoa.
All right.
That is crazy.
We're trying to keep up with chat, which and oh my god, Rackham. Oh my god, Rackham.
20 gifted subs. That is amazing.
We might even get to talk about the draft.
I know, we're not going to be able to talk about the draft. Well, Ariel was banned. The predictable bans are out. Now, what is the first pick going to be? We've seen some amazing tanks, but there is Liam's Yrel. Liam is on his account Vespertine, just so we know. We keep that straight in case that comes up. That is his main offlaner that he's played in the competitive scene so often, and it is very dominant. Will jump into the backline, will be a huge disruption, and is very, very difficult to deal with. They need that heavy CC to just lock that down, or else it's gonna just completely disrupt what they're trying to do here. But let's see what they end up picking for this map. Leo and Joanna. Solid picks. Solid picks.
In the past, the big thing when Yrel came out was everyone was just like, we can't deal with Yrel. There's nothing that beats her. And then actually, the one thing that really started to pop up into Yrel was Greymane because of how aggressive he can be, his armor, as well as the Cursed Bullet to be able to get some percentage-based damage into him. After Greymane actually ended up falling off as the answer, it actually became Malthael and also Leoric because of their percent-based damage with the Drain Hope or just the auto attacks Malthael has. So I think this Leoric Yrel matchup is going to be really strong. But I love the KT-Ls picking up the Mal'Ganis and the AlexDidz. So they're very much going into point control and point brawling because once that AlexDidz gets the Dragon Queen form up, she's going to be able to be even more aggressive with the Mal'Ganis and stepping up with the Yrel as well. So far, the KT-Ls have a strong composition, but I don't want to discount the members of Upstanding Citizens because they do have a strong soul laner and a strong main tank. Getting into this ban phase, though, they do need some sort of shrine clear, so maybe getting rid of some of the mages would be the option, but Sylvanas is not a bad idea as she does have insanely strong split pressure.
Definitely. Seriously, I think this is going to be great. Leon, we've been watching him play Mal'Ganis. They actually both play very aggressive against the enemy backline. Leon's Mal'Ganis and Yrel, Liam's Yrel and Leon's Mal'Ganis both like to charge in the enemy backline. So picking up that Leoric to just mitigate their damage during that and giving them more time to take him out is great. I would say an Ana ban, which there's the last Greymane ban. I was going to say an Ana just because Mal'Ganis has a ton of self-healing, Yrel has a ton of self-healing, AlexDidz could throw her healing in a rough position. So that's kind of what I was expecting, but we'll see how they decide to approach this. Upstanding Citizens could, choose to address it in any way that they really want to.
I was going to say, it's something that is massively, I wouldn't say undervalued or just kind of skipped over on Infernal Shrines is actually Ragnaros. He's got good defense. He's got good offense. His wave clear's not bad. His team fight's pretty good. Overall, I think that might be an option for us as we get further into this, but is Zeratul and Brightwing not a bad idea? That does have that polymorph option, so if Mal'Ganis tries to step up, polymorph, maybe they have a Condemn to pull them back in, Zeratul gets some burst, and that might be the opportunity for them to start to turn things around. On the opposing side, we still need some sort of shrine clear, and that's going to be the Jaina, and they'll pick a Raynor into that as well. This is a match made in heaven. Jaina has the slows, from her baseline trait, and then Raynor can take Ace in the Hole at level 1 and just apply that pepper consistently and get that increased damage from Jaina, and also even AlexDidz from her flame buffet, if I'm not mistaken. So her
flame buffet. So the second one does slow quite a bit if you take that talent too that just got changed.
Yeah, it's 40 to 50% with no decay, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, and it is a pretty major slow. We have a Genji Zeratul. Wow, they're very mobile, but very low on consistent damage until much later in this game. Level 16 is when Zeratul gets any consistent damage. This is really bold, and this is such an interesting dichotomy right here, where you have the one team that's going to be trying to dive in the backline, and the other team has no backline. They literally are all going to just counter dive. And that is fascinating. I actually am really love this team comp that they chose, except for the fact that I think it's way too low on damage. But we'll see. Upstanding Citizens, I think I don't know if they have enough damage, but I love how they address that. However, the KT-Ls, that's a solid team comp for this map. What are you thinking right now, Baha?
If the KT-Ls, I'm literally looking at team names aside, looking at the map, looking at just the draft, no players, no Tatski, no Mewnfares, none of that. I personally like the side of the KT-Ls. I think that their composition is a little more well-rounded. I think that they're going to be able to take the early game and build some momentum, and that's where that late game, as you were saying, they might have some damage in the late game, but that is still going to be late game. And Infernal Shrines, I've seen Infernal Shrine games go in 6 minutes, so we'll have to see here. But Paradox, we're loaded in, and I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go ahead and get into game number 1.
Game number 1 on the left side, on blue team, we have Upstanding Citizens. We have Joanna being played by AlexDidz. We have Genji being played by Mewnfare. We have Brightwing being played by Aullora. We have Leoric being played by the Turk, and we have Zeratul being played by Coffee.
And on the right-hand side, we got the KT-Ls. Lakefu's going to be on the AlexDidz, Vespertine going to be on the Urel, Tatski will be on the Rainer, Mal'Ganis is going to be played by LeonBlack, and Not Kagirii is going to be on Jaina. Who isn't Kagirii supposed to be playing Paradox?
I thought Kagirii is supposed to be playing, but I don't know who this is, but they're taking Kagiri's place, I guess. So we'll have to just.
Apparently, we're allowing Smurfs in this tournament right now. Leon, I love that Leon is just showing up their mastery thing right there. As Aullora is going to get dove on. Oh dear lord! First blood goes over to the KT-Ls.
Right off the bat. So, for those that are a little newer to this map, this is Infernal Shrines. And Baha, let's go through and just explain a little bit about what this map is, what's the competitive strategy on this map, and what are people looking to do. And I'll start off just a little bit to say that on this map, there is these shrines that are spawning. You can see where they're going to be spawning by a little indicator on the minimap. In this case, it'll be the middle lane, will be the first shrine to spawn. If you collect 40 of the whatever, you kill 40 of these little minions that spawn. Are they skeletons? I'm pretty sure they're skeletons.
Defenders.
Skeleton defenders. You kill 40 of them, it will spawn a Punisher that your team can then push with, has a huge health bar, does a bunch of little effects, and is a great tool to help your team siege. Now, what are some of the strategies on this map? What does the competitive scene usually do? How do these new players take this map? And how do they take this map and how do they push it to their advantage?
So typically what you do on a map like this is you run a 1-4, meaning you have your solo lane in top and they're going to be doing exactly what you're seeing, just brawling out. Right there, that's actually huge because the fact that they're able to get that kill, that forces the Genji rotation so they don't miss on an experience, which means you no longer have a Genji rotating between your mid to bottom. And that's the next factor. You have the rest of your core 4 rotating between mid and bottom. So often when you're doing a draft like this, you pick up a strong solo laner, apparently server matters, but you pick up a strong solo laner, and they kind of hold their own up there. They have good wave clear, they can push back, they can brawl out, but what you want to find is a core 4 that is able to rotate. So you have LeonBlack. This is actually a really good example. You have LeonBlack to anchor in the front, Lakefu healing from behind, Tatski and Kagirii to be able to then apply the wave clear. Excuse me. You have Tatski to wave. Oh my god, I'm flipping names right now, but Kagiri's going to be able to wave clear mostly, and Tatski will have the sustained damage to chase out. As I think we're going to be having Lakefu getting picked off right there, and Coffee going to be able to get out. LeonBlack going for the chase. That's going to be a necrotic embrace to find a little extra damage, but they still have the Night Rush too, and so they'll at least trade that out. And I gotta say, for the rotations between mid to bottom right now, it's actually pretty consistent with at least the trades as well. I mean, it is going to be up 3 kills right now for the members of the KT-Ls, but I thought they were going to be able to respond in just a second. Regardless, we do have our first shrine popping up, and it will be Frozen Punisher for mid lane.
Definitely. And that Frozen Punisher, if you guys haven't played in over 6 months, it has been adjusted to where it will also turn off structures after the activatable. It does happen. It is something that that has been changed recently. I apologize. We are having a little bit on the camera. That'll all be adjusted between this game and the next one, but we will have that fixed and gone from there. But we are looking at this first objective. We have 17 already over off on the right side, and again, with such a strong team comp like this is exactly what Upstanding Citizens needs, though. They need to at least win 1 or 2 objectives so that they can stay in this game. And if they can stay and reach late game, we've seen late game Zeratuls. Late game Zeratuls insane. But look at this. Urel hop in, send their entire backline into the middle of this fight while the AlexDidz is just blowing through their team. This is not looking good for Upstanding Citizens. They need to just take a trade right now, give the objective, but take something else in an opposite area. In this case, they're just going to let this push, and they are going to head over and start soaking other lanes. It looks like Urel's going to be soaking top. They're sending a couple people mid to push with their objective. You can see that objective is turning off the structures right there, and they aren't pushing too aggressively. Sometimes you'll see competitive teams, they'll break the sidewalls, they'll break on through, and they'll attack the backline. In this case, they're playing it safe. They already won the objective. They know that they have this lead. They don't need to try to make it any better or worse. Urel did cover bot lane soak for a second. Is going to head back up the top lane, possibly. Maybe just go in there and see if she can't disrupt the back lane again while Leoric's away. In this case, it looks like they're just probably going to reset. What I mean by reset is they're just going to get a little bit more health and mana, possibly full back, possibly just grab some fountains, and get a quick little reset and then head back in. And it looks like it's just going to be that. It's just going to be a soft reset, all hit their fountains, get some healing, and then go from there.
Yeah, we just continue to have rotations between our lanes, looking for experience and also trying to close any sort of gap between the two teams. I just wanted to note really quickly, the damage coming out from some of these players right now, we currently have Genji with 13,000 heroic damage. On the opposing side, the closest to them is Yrel with 8,000 damage. So this Genji, well, we were talking a little bit about how the early game might struggle a bit when it comes to the damage. Doesn't seem like that's too much of an issue. I mean, damage-wise, number-wise, it's the kills. It's finalizing that actual damage.
I was about to say, like, how can they do damage? Everything's dying so fast.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, unfortunately, while they are putting out the damage, they're not able to solidify the kills, and that's the rough part right here coming out for the members of Upstanding Citizens. And the KT-Ls, though, they're going to easily be able to grab this camp for bottom lane, pressure that up right there. Our next Punisher will be top lane, and it will be Arcane. So at least forcing it up a little bit further, maybe soft pushing that gate will give you an opportunity to maybe push even further beyond just this, front gate situation. Because a lot of Punishers, first and second, often are just going to be this, usually getting the gate, maybe a little bit damage onto the fort itself. But they're going to hard push this bottom lane while they have the opportunity. AlexDidz going to be just I wouldn't say baiting LeonBlack over here, but I think they're just trying to split the team, and they're doing a great job of that. That's going to be the VP coming out from the Zeratul, Hyperion coming out from Tatski as well. A couple members going to be actually stepping into the VP. That's a lot of damage going out onto Kagirii, and she's going to be the first one to go down in this engagement. Mewnfare is going to be able to get out of there, and actually considering to come back in here with just a little bit of health. If they end up getting locked down by, I don't know, Tatski, or at least bursted down by Tatski, that's something they need to be worrying about. Vespertine, though, is going to be able to get Righteous Hammer. No, going to be going for the Avenging Rat just to dive in further, as the Turk and Coffee are a little far forward here. They're trying to split off. That's going to be Zeratul getting picked off from the Pepper from Tatski, and I think they should be able to disengage on both sides. I think it's just going to be a little bit of a back and forth trade. Top lane was delayed out too. Paradox, that's a big factor. Having the mercenary camp and top lane pushing this freely is so powerful. Unfortunately for the members of Upstanding Citizens, the two towers targeted the shaman. If that thing wasn't targeted, it definitely would have taken that down a lot quicker. But now they're going to re-engage.
Ooh, Dragon popped on a camp. So it's a great, like, they got this huge advantage from this, but it's always risky to use a camp or use a Dragon right before an objective because it's such a great tool to win that objective. However, it is, and it looks like Lakefu is also out of position. There's a good chance that she's going to be taken out here. So now they won't have Dragon, and they're down someone for this next objective. This could be, and again, this is exactly what they need. Zeratul hitting 16 could be game-changing. Plus, we've got the Genji's Dragon Blade. We've got everything else to follow up once they hit that 16. We just really need Upstanding Citizens to get there without losing too much. This objective could be the game right here. Not the game, but it could be a huge piece of getting those teams to be on an even playing field. And that's the opposite of what KT-Ls really want.
Well, Fork goes down right there. Coffee actually, I don't know if they got scouted out. Vespertine's just going to continue to push up in the bottom lane right now, as there is going to be a Brightwing in mid lane clearing out. There was a VP onto a couple. Coffee ends up, Coffee ends up going down. Buys some time, so they do end up getting the Punisher, but you are giving more and more experience over to the opposing side, and just jumping over this right now. The Heroes experience, just between the two teams when it comes to heroic experience, is 2,000 deficit. They have 4,000 experience from all these kills that they've had earlier, but this is now Genji diving to the backline. There's going to be a huge cleanse coming out from the Brightwing as well. LeonBlack trying to work their way back towards the friendly team. The Cleansing Flame is going to be trying to save Kagirii here. They also drop down right next to her. The Healing Circle is not enough. Jaina goes down. Genji goes down, as well as the Brightwing. And now Punisher going to back off towards the fort. They should be able to deny any sort of further push from this, but that was a really good back and forth. Are they looking for more fight here, Paradox?
I mean, here's the thing, right? They're down. I mean, Leon's going in. He's really low on mana though, and as far as damage goes, they just have Yrel with them. It's going to be really, really rough, especially with a Leoric there who can consistently just heal through all of this damage. They really can't take anything else. However, we do have that increased damage from Yrel. If you guys are not familiar after the change that just happened, she picked up Holy Avenger at 7, increasing the damage of her next charge by 25%, while it's also increasing all of her spell damage by up to 30% with her level 13 talent, which is called Velen's Chosen. So this URL is now going to be doing a lot of damage and having some pretty big slows to match that as well. So if we do see the URL hop in there and the fight lasts a little longer than about 12 seconds, we're going to have a URL who's just dropping people left and right.
Speaking of things getting dropped, I think LeonBlack wants to try and drop the Turk, as there's two fights currently breaking out. We have Carrion Swarm on the bottom left of our screen. Looks like they're not going to be able to find the kill onto the Turk, but they do find Brightwing in the top left of our screen. Going to be able to solidify that kill as Vespertine jumps over the wall. The Turk very low. They're not going to be able to get the kill. Oh, no! Is the Flame Buffet enough from AlexDidz? The damage over time was enough to get the kill, and that's exactly what they're aiming for. Yeah, I was watching their health bar just tick away slowly, but now we kind of reset. Actually, not even reset. That's going to be Ardent Defender used right there. Hyperion very early. I think they were expecting the fight to be drawn out towards them. There was a really nice sleep coming out from the Mal'Ganis, and they end up finding the fort. Plus, they find AlexDidz here, and that's going to be Johanna going down as well as Genji.
Yes, and it honestly, I have to say, Genji's damage is so much higher than I was expecting out of that. He's out damaging everyone else in this entire game. And Genji, I mean, has been regarded lately as one of the weaker assassins. In fact, he's one of the lowest win rate heroes in the game today, with Cho'Gall being the only one that had a lower win rate than Genji. After Cho'Gall's buffs, if I was to take a peek, I would say Genji's the lowest. Mewnfare is playing this Genji at such a high level, it is insane. He is dropping Jaina's health, dropping Rainer's health so quickly. It is fascinating to watch. Oh, that's Turk getting collapsed on.
Out of all the people that you want to die on your team,
it is the
Leoric. So there's at least that. Currently, LeonBlack in mid lane is just casually 1v3ing while he's pushing up the lane. Rest of the team going to be trying to jump in here and help out. Do they have a Night Rush for... No, I was wondering if they had a Night Rush to get some sort of setup, but we will be having a Mortar Punisher pop up in this bottom lane. A little fun fact for anyone that doesn't know, you can actually hover over your minimap with your cursor, and it will actually tell you ahead of time what type of Punisher it will be. Same thing with actually camps. So currently, I can hover over the top left camp, and it's 3 minutes and 27 seconds. Little things you can take into your own game that actually make massive differences. You don't actually have to click off of your current view to be able to view what a timer is on a camp or something like that. Or at least, you know, hey, Mortar's coming up in bottom lane. Maybe it's not as, you know, something we're as excited to get, because I don't know, it pushes the worst out of the three. And I don't know, yes,
you just blew my mind. Really? I did not know you can mouse over this shrine and it literally hovers. It says Mortar Shrine. There's even a color to say what it is.
Yep.
That is hilarious. He's talking about the little symbol before it even shows the color. That
because when it does pop up right now, when it pops up now, we know it's Mortar because it glows this reddish color. But in the future, when there is another one that pops up, just mouse over it on your minimap and it will pop up and say Frozen, Arcane, and it does have a color coordination, as you said before, based on the gem that you see on the top. But
that is crazy. That note,
so the KT-Ls got that, and they also have this free Shaman in top lane.
They ripped through this Punisher, and they did. It felt like they weren't even going against an enemy team there. They went through the Punisher and just kind of like off on the side. They're like, oh, we'll also kill Leoric and we'll also kill Brightwing. No worries. That is a sidewall down. Whenever a sidewall is destroyed, that usually means that they want to play aggressive and they want to jump in there in case the Punisher jumps over first. And they're playing aggressive. Look at Liam just right in there with that Yrel, immediately pushing back people, getting that huge spell power, and just dropping them. A quick Goomba Stomp takes out the Avenging Wrath takes out the Joanna. An ult keeps her alive, and VP catches only Jaina. Oof.
Mewn gonna be getting taken out right there. That Punisher jump was the setup they needed, and Turk gonna go down to the blast from Tatski. That will be another Avenging Wrath jumping forward, but the Punisher on core. The GGs are called, and Paradox, that's game number 1 going over to the KT-Ls.
That is game number 1 going over to the KT-Ls, and that is GG. Brutal, guys. That was brutal. Again, we mentioned what they struggled with in their comp, but Mewn still made it work. I mean, I was really worried that they were going to have no damage, and they did struggle a lot with damage. I mean, a lot of their damage was free damage onto Mal'Ganis. And as far as the damage numbers at the end of the game, we had Rainer and Jaina closing in on, the Yrel and the Rainer closing in on the Genji's damage, topping the Genji's damage. because I think a lot of that Genji damage was just on free targets like Mal'Ganis who could just self heal.
Yeah.
But that was a brutal game.
Can we talk about how Vespertine will probably never see a Yrel throughout the rest of CCL? 93,000 siege, 44,000 heroic damage. That is still 6k more than the Genji.
It's brutal.
Paradox, that is wild for a solo laner who typically sees the least amount of, brawling in action because you're not in the 4-member rotations between mid and bottom. You're just brawling it out against a Leorc. Now, granted, the later game we saw how everything split off and everything, but it's that early game phase. You're not sitting there dealing tons of damage as we were talking about earlier. So it's just, it's wild to see it, but just looking at these numbers, I definitely think Yrel's going to be a ban against the KT-Ls consistently throughout the upcoming weeks. I would never give this back over to them ever. Definitely.
It's brutal. It really is. I mean, I've been saying Yrel is underrated. I mean, ever since Imperius came out, people stopped playing Yrel. Part of the reason is they did a lot of the same things, but Imperius is a little easier to play, and Yrel saw a lot of nerfs right around that time. Then Yrel saw a few buffs, and then had a bug that held her back. After they fixed the bug, and they just gave her some more buffs, I've been asking, where's the Yrel in competitive? Where's the Yrel in competitive? And here it is. Here's this Yrel. We're seeing it in competitive, and it is scary.
Well, it was Leon was posting on Twitter like earlier this week or the week before about how busted Yrel was, and he was just like, why is no one playing her? And I think it's just one of those things that in all of the leagues that we have, there's so many different metas. Like I cast different divisions of different leagues. And so, in one division, you're going to have a good example. This was years ago. There was one division who all they played, like one of the most high priority heroes was Zagara. Had no changes, had no buffs, had no nerfs at the time, but it was one of the players on one of the teams was like, I want to make Zagara meta, and played it so much that the entire division started playing it. But if you jump to a different division within that league, nobody even cared about Zagara. Wasn't even banned, wasn't even picked, wasn't even like hovered probably. So it's one of these situations where I think the CCL is going to start developing its own meta, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in like week 3, especially because that's when everyone's just about seeing each other, at least seeing them play against someone else. And I think, I'm excited for this now, but it's the further weeks down and developing these metas and what these players are really going to start seeing and trying to ban out against each other. That's going to be, I think, the story that I'm most excited about. But this game 1 was a great indicator that we're up for a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weeks of matches.
Definitely. And before we get in to game number 2, it's still going to be a little bit, but I do want to talk to you guys a little bit. I did mention something about our sponsor and a giveaway. And I want to just talk a little bit about this. So before we get into this, our sponsor is Duke Cannon. Baha, what do you like about Duke Cannon?
They just got a big ass bar of soap.
They do have a big ass bar of soap.
It's simple. It's simple.
It really is simple, guys. So we do have a giveaway. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the giveaway later, but I did tell you that there was a word that you need to say in chat to enter the giveaway. So the giveaway is going to be for some Duke Cannon products like the Tactical Scrubber and what we've been talking about, the big ass bar of soap, one or the other. There's a variety of other things that they're doing, but for the most part, different pieces are there. Guys, to enter this giveaway, all you need to do is type Dude Soap, no spaces, no caps. I mean, you could add caps. It doesn't really matter.
Case insensitive, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, you could show us what kind of caps you want to add in there. Dude Soap, no spaces. And you can add in whatever types of caps you want. I really don't. Exactly. I'm almost positive it can go either way. So
it's case insensitive. From my understanding, too, the tactical scrubber that you're describing actually fits the big ass bar of soap inside of it. So it's a nice duo together. So that way you can be like, oh man, I want to smell like a forest today, or I want to smell like leather and whiskey. Like they have so many. Like I was scrolling through all the different smells. I was like. I kind of want to just buy that just to find out what it smells like. But yeah, no, there's some really, really cool stuff. We were looking through it yesterday when we were discussing this, and So I highly recommend you type Dude Soap in chat, which all of chat right now is just Dude Soap, which is just...
Oh yeah, of course. Do they have licorice flavor? No, but they do have fresh cut pine, and that to me is like so good. It's insane. Some of them really surprised me. One of them that surprised me the most, I actually got this one just because I wanted to know why. Do you know what their top rated soap is? The one that they're actually famous for is beer.
Is it
And
the
for me, I'm
PBR
like,
one?
I don't know. It just says it's
it
just
Milwaukee's
beer.
Best? Oh, it's just beer. Okay.
It's just beer, and I'm sitting here going, I mean, I don't really like the smell of beer, right? But everyone says it's something else. They're like, it smells so good. So I'm really surprised. Has anyone gotten their beer flavored soap and know why do people love it so much? Like, I'm honestly curious at how, like, why that is like the flavor. It's like, seriously, it's actually like, it has so many more 5-star ratings than so many other random products on other websites. That just blows my mind.
I think it's
insane.
better rated than the banana slicer on Amazon, and
I think it is.
Which, by the way, if you've never read the comments on the banana slicer on Amazon, go do it. You'll like, it's a good time. Those are some wild comments, but we are currently getting everything set up in here. And the one thing that we actually do want to know, I want to mention right now, the giveaway winners must be U.S. residents. That was something that one of the admins just posted in our chat. So that is also just something to know as well, as you are
good to know.
But the other factor too is we were discussing this last night. I believe the way that the actual giveaway works is it's going to be cumulative for the stream. So if you've said it once, that's it. We're not going to make you retype dude soap ever again. Well, maybe next week we will.
I mean, you can
and
still
you also
do it
must
next
be present
week,
to win too. Yeah.
Yes. So there
you
are
can be
some
present to
stipulations
win,
for
you're
sure.
a citizen, but you only need to type it in once because it'll keep you in there, and then they're going to roll from the current list. So we'll mention this throughout the stream, so that way if there are new people that join in or anything like that, or if there's maybe one coming up, we'll keep you up to date on when those things are going to be happening. But we are currently we are currently getting all the players into our lobby for game number 2 here. And so, jumping back to that series that we had, Paradox, what were some of the things that you think the citizens could do better coming into this next game? Was it their damage, or that kind of? I think
that's kind of what thrown me the most is they gave the other team every piece that they wanted. Right? Mm-hmm. Liam got his Urel. LeonBlack got his Mal'Ganis. Yep. They got everything. Lakefu got AlexDidz. Like, they got everything that they wanted. Upstanding Citizens needs to play more of the draft metagame, right? They need to steal away some pieces and still have a team comp that has everything they need, rather than just picking a lot of things that are fun, which that's kind of what it, to me, like they did, was they picked a bunch of things that they enjoy playing that are fun. I want to see Turk doing something crazy. I want to see Mewn doing something crazy, right? That's what I personally want to see. But I want to see a team comp that's solid, but also I want them to break apart some of those pieces. And at the very least, I mean, Turk's known for playing weird stuff. Where is this weird stuff? They got to get that out there. Where's the Vikings comps? Where's the Junkrat? Where, like, all these weird things? I want to see it. Even just his Tychus, like, at the very least, like, grab the Garrosh and Tychus. Garrosh flip into Tychus. Bigger they are, Mal'Ganis will die like this every single time. Where's that? I want to see that. That's what I want to see out of Upstanding Citizens.
So I don't want to jump the gun a little bit here, but you know what? We'll talk about the map, because this is one thing that I want to talk about. You're talking about Turk's odd picks. We're going to Volskaya.
Yeah.
Do you know what hero is notably strong on Volskaya because of a level 4 talent? A little bit of a quiz.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of heroes that are good on Volskaya, but
specifically on Volskaya because of the 4. Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, Tychus is, but I don't think you're meaning Tychus.
Mm-mm.
Oh, Sylvanas, yes. Sylvanas, yes. Before you even, but she'll be banned for sure.
Do you know what typically isn't banned?
Gazlo?
Hired Goons on Gazlo has, I believe,
about to say, I'm like, Gazlo.
It's not 60% like Sylvanas'. I believe it's either 40 or 50%.
It's 50.
It is?
But
okay.
You also get extra little turrets that you can use to defend that big turret, so that's kind of fun.
That's what I'm saying here. I think we might see a Gazlo pick. Realistically, too, it's round robin. Like, bring out the oddities. Like, maybe even picking up the Gazlo might throw them off, might throw them off kilter or whatever, and they might not throw the game, but be challenged to it to the point where they can't actually deal with it, and it's going to be forced game 3 from the members of Upstanding Citizens. But regardless, we are here getting set up for game number 2, and we are having Uther ban. No main tank Uther shenanigans coming out in game 2.
Nope. And there's a Deathwing, and we'll most likely see Ariel banned, and possibly Sylvanas. But yeah, I thought It was funny because I was playing against a Gazelle on this map once, and someone's like, "Oh, we need to pick things that kill turrets." They're like, "Let's get Vala and let's get Artanis out here and let's destroy his turrets." I was like, "Guys, like we don't need to overthink it that much." I'm like, "Yes, that would be really annoying to him." I said, "But if we change our whole comp to counter turrets, then he still is a hero. He's just a hero without one of his abilities." Oh, there's the Mal'Ganis ban. So now,
they're trying to
what's going to be available?
They're trying to force the Ariel ban from the KT-Ls. Also, really quickly, Serenity Knight, thank you for the 500 bits, and Amoran, thank you for the 11 months of support. Very much appreciate everything you guys bring to the channel. Thank you for being here and supporting such an amazing, wonderful league. But that's a Leorc ban. Ariel's up.
That's a Leo ban.
I saw
Ariel
it in chat.
Is up.
Someone in chat already said it. Ariel Cho'Gall, let's go. It's Volskaya. It's the perfect
Well,
match.
for sure, the Ariel could be first pick, and I'd be really surprised. Even with that nerf, it just makes her a little bit riskier, but she's still so strong right now. I don't know about Cho'Gall, but he is strong. Whoa there. Ariel's free, and they have another pick. Guess who's still free? We've got Garrosh who's still free. We have Yrel who's still free. Yrel and Ariel. There we go.
I personally, brutal. I think this is a bit of a misstep. Banning. I get that Mal'Ganis fights really, really well in Volskaya Foundry. Fights really well in any, point control based map, much like Infernal Shrines as we were just on. But Volskaya has the same mechanics, so I get why you want to ban that out. But I think Yrel was the more dominant force in that game. While Mal'Ganis ate a lot of damage, Yrel was in that backline pushing people around. Regardless,
ooh,
I love a good Kel'Thuzad, and you know what I love even more?
Have you seen Coffee's? It's pretty good.
Kel'Thuzad, yes. I
interrupted you.
No, you're sorry. Good. I paused there for you're good. I'm so pumped about this because he's an amazingly mechanically savvy player on it.
So here's the thing. What they need to do right now is the tricky part is they can't really give them Garrosh, but Garrosh is a great counter to this. But they also need to make sure they don't get Medivh. Ooh, Cho. That's smart. That is definitely smart. Yeah. So there's a lot of counter pick options to Kel'Thuzad. There's Garrosh who can go unstoppable and rip people right away. So he can unstop and he can throw someone. And who's amazing at Garrosh? LeonBlack. But they also have Medivh as a possibility, which I don't know if Kagirii or Tatski play Medivh. So I'd imagine a Garrosh and then something normal like that.
Yeah, I don't think either of them do play Medivh, as you were saying earlier. The one thing I really quickly also, Snag Drax gave 1,000 bits as well.
Oh, whoa.
Bits are coming in. These bits, by the way, they're all going to the major prize pool. It's not like, we're lining our pockets with bits and we're going to walk out of tonight with just pennies everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly that's Bandit, but, he does his own thing. The one thing I wanted to ask you here, though, as we're kind of getting to the end of this draft, this is the one thing that I've always been curious about. What's the one way to just stop this Kel'Thuzad here? I mean, we already have the majority of the draft through. What would you kind of pick to round this out? Because they need more damage, but is there something you could pick also that would be beneficial and maybe hinder the Kel'Thuzad?
Ultimately, they have their answers. Yrel can disrupt him just by being in their way, and Garrosh can unstop. He can get chained once, and whenever they chain the other person, he'll unstop it, and then he'll throw them away. And it's going to stop the combo with a 45-second cooldown every single time. And the combos usually come out. I mean, if Coffees land those combos left and right, then that's going to be too much for that. But if it's only here and there, then Garrosh is going to have an answer every single time. However, Yrel can also disrupt. Yrel can also take the talent at level 4, Hand of Freedom, which will at least break the root part so they don't get hit by the ult. There are a lot of tools that they can do already in their team comp, but one of my favorite personal counters is Zarya, just because you counter the burst, and then you also get charged up during that. So that's my personal opinion. However, they already have the tools to answer it. So far, I really prefer the KT-Ls team comp. I think it's really strong, but I do at least like that the other team has all the tools that they need. So overall, pretty solid. So I was just going to start off and introduce the teams once again. On the left side, we have the Upstanding Citizens. We've got Joanna being played by AlexDidz, Blaze being played by Turk. We've got Greymane being played by Mewnfare. We've got Kel'Thuzad being played by Coffee, and Aullora on that Brightwing.
On the right-hand side, we got the members of the KT-Ls up 1 in our first best of 3 of the evening. They're going to try and take it in 2-0 fashion with Lakefu on the Ariel. Not Kagirii going to be on the... I lost my spot. There we go. On the Li Ming, Vespertine going to be on the Urel, LeonBlack on that Garrosh, and Raynor going to be played by Tatski. And now I know we're getting into our first, meeting by these two teams, but I really, really quickly wanted to thank Stormhots for the 1,500 bits, AdBullet for the 500 bits, Darkshear for the 1,000 bits, Decibel Hots, as well as Panani for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. Thank you for supporting the stream. Thank you for supporting the league, and I'm glad you're enjoying the content that you're seeing this evening, as we currently have our solo laners breaking off here. Looks like Mewn's going to be going into Vespertine with this Greymane at the start. Maybe have the Turk come in here and try and find a Jet Propulsion for the pick. Not going to be happening, but they are going to be at least able to force them back. Kel'Thuzad tried to play the chains, but they at least sidestepped the damage coming in. And that Master of the Cold Dark, we'll do our best to keep you updated on that information as it does come through here. But now, once again, I mean, we're back to map mechanics here, Paradox, and this is looking a lot like Infernal Shrines, but just kind of mirrored almost.
It is. So essentially, I will get into this map a little bit. This is Volskaya Foundry, and like you said on the previous map, 4 and 1 is one of the common things, except for it's flipped on this map. The solo lanes, the 1 tends to go on the bottom half of the map, while the 4-man rotation is going from the mid to the top, back to the mid again, trying to interrupt rotations or trying to just get rotations to collect all of the experience. There are very powerful camps on this map, especially ones that a lot of people call items or tools, which are the turrets and the heal cams. Collecting the most turrets and heal cams before the objective allows you to have an advantage during the objective. And the objective is a location that you have to sit on for 100 seconds, and it will contest at 99%, and it will contest at 0%, or at least the recap time. And the winning team gets a 2-person vehicle. 1 drives and 1 shoots. A very, very powerful objective, which can get a lot of value off of it. Most people use this objective to prepare for the next objective, because these objectives on this map always go from mid to top to bottom, then back to mid and repeat. That is Volskaya Foundry. There is a little bit of extra little strategy that we'll discuss along the way, but overall, we will be approaching the objective spawning in about the next 30 seconds. Both teams have picked up their cams. However, it looks like in this case, the KT-Ls are going to be taking the heal cam. The team that tends to get the heal cam wins the objective more often, because they tend to have a turret and a heal cam, while the other team only has a turret. So we will see how that plays out. As far as the early game goes, though, the big challenge is getting KTZ's stacks. The earlier he gets it, the earlier he gets that 75% extra damage. And in this case, he's currently only at 1, now 2, now that I just said that. But look at him, he gets immediately knocked in by Urel, and then he takes a ton of damage. Gets a nice cleanse and movement speed coming out from Aullora, playing that Brightwing. But it's going to be rough. Look how low Coffee is in this fight, still sitting only at 2 stacks.
Oh, Vespertine trying to make their way out of this, going to be able to make it out with some little bit of health, as we did have the Blaze currently sitting on the point for a couple seconds. Going to get a little bit of charge in the favor. You can see that circle kind of going up and down. That means that there's someone stepping on and off it, and you can kind of just recycle it and step off, go into lane, then step back in. So long as it doesn't go to 0, you don't have to get that read channel onto it, and you continue to soak up or at least gain the charge in your favor. 7 talent tier, not too far off on either of these sides, but this is going to be, at least this first half, going over to the side of the Upstanding Citizens. The KT-Ls need to find some way, shape, or form to jump into this. It just seems like they're unsure of their angle right now, but Greymane showing in top lane will be the signifier and the call for them to be able to jump in. That was a really good detainment strike right there, but unfortunately they weren't able to capitalize on the kill just yet.
That was brutal. That was a ton of damage onto a Joanna. I've never seen... I mean, I haven't seen that much damage go on a Joanna in a long time. We do have a bit of an orb build coming out from Li Ming, which is bold. This is actually the only map I do recommend it sometimes. Not too much in competitive, but... Ooh, look at those stuns! A lot of stuns coming out. That should be the Ariel being taken out, and that's the turret dropped, but that's 1 reset on Joanna. 1 for 1 currently. One team does not have a healer, while the other team is missing their tank, but they do still have Blaze, who can act as a bit of a tank. But look at this health right now. Ooh! A third of a second from getting that heal from Brightwing.
I'll be honest, Kagirii with the magic missiles onto Didz right there to find the kill into that Joanna, it was almost like, I don't know, Kagirii was just specifically aiming for Didz. Either way, this is a lot of damage going to Aullora, who tried to get a kill onto LeonBlack, but Kagirii rounds the corner with another combo. I'll be honest, she's playing this Li Ming so very well, and they're going to be able to grab this first Trigla Protector. Now, typically, from what I've seen, it's usually you open up mid lane a little bit, rush into top lane, and then take that down, but mostly you want to focus on the well in top lane. And I don't know, Paradox, is there any sort of rhyme or reason to be able to force and rush that top well in top lane?
Yes, and like I said before, a lot of these are used to just make it easier to win the next objective. Because the next objective will be spawning top lane, getting this well is a huge piece of allowing you to win this next objective, because you will have a well, a way to kind of get your mana back, get your health back, but the enemies won't, or at least their well will be really far away. So people will take mid lane because it's close and they can usually take it very quickly. And then they'll head up top lane and they'll be able to take the fountain. But with a little bit of mismatch and coordination, it makes it a little difficult to take both of those things. So in this case, they weren't able to get that well up in the top, but they did open up a lot of things. And throw into a taunt immediately was great. So what Leon just did there is actually pretty challenging because the timing needs to be perfect, and if you're even off by a little bit, you mess it up and you waste a 50-second cooldown. He threw and he taunted mid-air so she would have no time to react. And so right as she landed, she was immediately taunted. She couldn't teleport to her allies. She couldn't give herself spell armor. She couldn't do anything because from the throw, she was immediately taunted when she landed. If you mess that up by taunting too early, then you waste it. If you mess it up by taunting too late, then they're out of range and you also waste it. So he landed that perfectly. It was actually surprisingly difficult, and he got it, again, perfectly.
Coffee?
Ooh, Coffee's in a rough position.
I like the way that they're playing this, though. That allowed Didz to be able to spray and walk away and everything. That allowed Didz to be able to slow them down, but did they just sacrifice themselves? I think... Oh, wait, the Warlord's Challenge coming out in time. Blink heal from the Brightwing will be there. There's the Shadow Fissure from Coffee. Not going to be able to solidify a kill on either side. And I got to say, that Brightwing came in just in time to be able to help AlexDidz right there, but currently have a bit of a rotation towards mid lane. I'm watching the mini-map just to see if there's anyone that's going to be hopping up, and this is LeonBlack in a bit of a rough spot. Does have to drop the biotic emitter to make sure they don't lose it if they end up going down. They've got low health, but they're trying to play around that.
Ooh, that's the combustion right there. Huge slow, huge damage, but are they going to be able to follow up this damage? That is one. That should be a revive right there. The revive cast came a little late, though. They will be able to... Oh, wait, they don't kill Lakefu, and that's going to be Yrel and Leon immediately onto Coffee. Coffee sneaks out one kill before he goes, though. Man, that was quite a fight right there, and without a reward. So a lot of times these fights, I don't usually recommend taking fights without rewards, because this entire time, look at Mewn. He's like, I don't care if you guys are fighting, I'm just going to destroy some turrets. But is he going to get caught out of position here? Leon's going to watch him. Ooh, I don't think he has a way out. I don't think there's any way he gets out of this.
No, he's going to be able to dip and dive around. He does have eyes in the dark. Okay.
Ooh.
Tatski with the penetrating round to the face. Oh, man, they were anticipating the eyes in the dark roll away. But really quickly, for anyone that's wondering, we do know that there's observer issues, all that good stuff. We're fixing it. We'll get it set up in the next game, whatever. We'll just have to deal with it for this one. For now, anyone that is wondering, currently, Master of the Cold Dark on KT-Ls, 26 out of the 30 stacks necessary. For the Blaze, we have 47 out of 60 for the Grill and Kill. On the Garrosh, for the Warbreaker at level 1, we've got 12 out of the 15. For the Repeated Offense, we have 3 out of the 6 on the Ariel, and that's going to be Blaze getting picked off right there to the Garrosh. And that's all the questing talents we currently have. Actually, just to update really quickly, Grill and Kill is like 3 stacks away, so you'll see that probably finish out very, very soon. Either way, at least you all kind of are updated with all of that information, as we are going to be set up for Control Point B in a second. Aullora getting pulled. That's going to be a really good disruption from AlexDidz onto Kagirii to force them away. Blessed Shield coming out as well. Hyperion almost getting enough damage onto the left-hand side. That will be the kill onto Tatski, as the Master of the Cold Dark stacks were finished out by the KT-Ls. I think they were banking on the Gilnean Cocktail to get the last little bit of damage to the Lakefu. LeonBlack now trying to just work their way back towards the friendly side of the lane, as AlexDidz takes a lot of damage. Kagiri's just throwing out these combos and hopefully finding a kill. Not yet, though, and it looks like we're going to be able to disengage. Probably more from the Vespertine, but that's another chain coming out. Either way, disengage and just one kill, going over in favor to the members of Upstanding Citizens.
So for one of the most important quests, we do have that Master of the Cold Dark finished. That is KT-L's stacking quest that gives him that 75% additional spell power. So now the combos are going to hit like a truck. But that's also Garrosh's job now to watch that, make sure that he unstoppables at the right time, make sure that he does into the fray, out of the fray for his team when those situations do arise. So, and again, with the spectator issues, it is always difficult around patch days. Ooh, that's a good throw, good taunt.
Down. That's a reset for Kagirii, who's able to blink away. Garrosh ends up going down. They try and throw out a combo. There's a Resurrect onto the Garrosh. They're going to be back in. Look at Vespertine on the left-hand side of your screen, going in to knock Coffee towards the enemy side. They're trying to get the combo onto Coffee. If they can kill KT-Zod, that's a huge win for the members of the KT-Ls as they find a Joanna kill on top of all of that. 53% was charged up in favor for Upstanding Citizens. Blink will be able to get the Brightwing right out of there. Turk and Aullora are going to be able to disengage. Just 16 talent here and a solid level lead will be here for the KT-Ls, and now they'll be able to back off. They are going to give over their top lane fort. Actually, no, I thought the wave was a lot bigger on the minimap than I expected, so they'll be able to save their top lane fort. Garrosh on the point, getting that charge, but now, with the couple seconds they still have up, they're going to be able to at least grab the biotic emitter in the upper portion of our map, and then probably regroup around this objective. Actually, no, the enemy team might... Realistically, if I'm on the side of the Upstanding Citizens, I don't really try and engage onto this until I potentially even have 16.
I honestly, I wouldn't. I would just go bot lane like what Mewn was doing earlier. I would have everyone just go push as far as you possibly can. You have all of your forts still available. I would, while they're winning the objective and you're waiting for 16s, take a fort down at bot lane because you've got nothing better to do in the next objective spot anyways. So you could gain that advantage. And it's so important to take those trades when you can have them because it just allows you to get an advantage even when you're going to be losing something. But we do have a transition here. I mean, Urel's down bot lane. Ooh, a lot of damage onto Garrosh. He does pop unstoppable, but that combo goes off. He doesn't into the fray. That is a resurrect, and then into the fray to save one. But with Leon going down and Raynor in a bad position, this could be Raynor getting dropped.
Urel doing their best to force back the enemy team. It won't be enough right there as they end up going down. Do they have the Ardent Defender up in time? They do also have a Fortification Camp if they want to try and drop that to zone back the enemy team. Jet Propulsion coming out from the Turk. They end up getting the fort down. This also means they can play this top lane more aggressive as Vesper knows this and they're trying to get out of here. That's a wonderful Glacial Spike coming out from Coffee. They don't get the turret down in time, I don't think, and that will be... staggered out death. Like that staggered death right there is huge because that definitely means we get control point B going over to the side of Upstanding Citizens. And the other factor too is they're pushing up this top lane. I see this in some of my other games. There's a lot of different ways you can play control point B. You can push through top lane and try and take a keep. That means you have consistent catapult pressure throughout the entire control point C phase, and you can play that super slow on the side that actually has catapults. And then once it starts to, get closer and closer to that top lane or closer and closer to their core, you can then start to force the enemy team to either stay on the point or go back and deal with their core. So it's one of those interesting plays, and I think that's kind of what they're going for right now. The unfortunate factor is just about everyone will be up for this defense. You're all 2 or 3 seconds behind, so this might not get the keep, but we're gonna have to see how it plays out here, Paradox.
Oh, definitely. And when I used to do analysis for different pro teams, I found that there were 2 major reasons that you would go for this. 1, you want to try to close out the game early, which means that you tried to open it up very early, or 2, you have a huge lead on the enemy team. In this case, they don't have a huge lead on the enemy team, but I think they just want to close it out early, even though their level 20s are rather strong. I mean, we get Blunderbuss from Greymane, we get the bigger combustion from Blaze, and those are huge level 20 upgrades, not to mention that we have some cool stuff coming out from Joanna. Ooh, Forced Engage is coming out, Coffee's being thrown in, we do have the combustion that might zone. A lot of damage is actually going to be traded back and forth, but everyone needs to get out if they don't want to give a bunch of resets. In this case, there's 1 reset, and second reset, oof.
Lakefu has Resurrect. I'm surprised they're not trying to rush the Garrosh to resurrect him and try and maybe push in lane with... Okay, so they'll be able to get that.
Yeah, I think Garrosh was just a little far, but yeah.
There was a range reduction today. It was from 7 to 5. So, if anything, I guess the best way to describe that is, Zul'jin with their baseline quest done is... I think that's like 7.1 or something like that. No, you might have to have...
I believe Zul'jin's goes from 4.5 to... 5.6 and then to 6.7, but I could be wrong.
I thought he went to 7. Either way, gonna have a toss on a Vesper to force
7.7. Oh, so he starts out higher. He starts at 5.5, then moves up.
That's what it is. Okay, yeah, because I thought he maxed out pretty high. Either way, Twitch chat always knows. We have this bottom lane being pushed out. Also, that's actually huge. To be able to get the Shadow Fizzer into Tatski right there allows them to get the reset. Now, it is, I believe, a 1.5 reset onto that. Yeah, so you have to wait a couple seconds, but still, just getting a reset means that, well, it's off cooldown, and you got a little bit of damage onto a Rainer that forces the Ariel to have to heal. But here's exactly what I was talking about in the top lane. Right now, we have 2 catapults that are mounting. Vesper has to come back to deal with that. Blaze actually pushing up the mid lane. And the rest of the team is going to go ahead and grab themselves a camp for top.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's the catapult pressure is definitely underrated these days. It's something that especially for a map like this, and especially if you can force the enemies to take their camp early. In this case, they're taking the camp really early to deal with it. Now they're not going to have that camp to pressure when the objective actually spawns, or at least that camp to defend when the objective spawns. So this is actually putting Upstanding Citizens in such a strong position, and they're level 20, so they have these 20 upgrades. So they're in a really, really good spot right now. Some of the level 20 talents that were picked... Ooh, actually, this fight is going in. That is an upgraded combustion right there, slowing them all before. A lot of damage, but a lot of that damage is prevented by the Ariel level 20.
Yeah, you saw that Shield of Hope being triggered right there. Vespertine is just above us, and that's going to be Mewnfare trying to chase into them. Blaze ends up going down, so while the main source of damage was chasing 1 kill, they find 3 on the side of the KT-Ls. That is a trade that I'd take every day. And then, oh, look at this, conveniently, I got to resurrect. Granted, I mean, I will say this, the resurrection upgrade at 20 that's also wild too, because I believe it's a 50% cooldown so long as the person who
as long as the person survives, then yes, it will cut the cooldown in half. So
yeah, it's such a great upgrade. But Shield of Hope is, we just saw exactly how much value Shield of Hope can bring to the table as they're trying to push up this bottom lane, try and soft push this, and they do have control of this Trigla Protector. But look at Mewnfare's in the top right portion of your map.
And look at this core. I mean, he's gonna be pushing. That's a camp and 2 katas and a Greymane on core. Greymane is the highest single target siege damage when it comes to the long-term siege damage. So 2 people are trying to... They will be able to get him off, but those katas are going to go right back to the core again.
I wonder, will they be able to punish the kill? Garrosh has to go back. Yrel's going to mount up. Ooh, she doesn't have Divine Steed or anything, which would have allowed her to chase a little bit quicker. I don't know if this, like, I just hear yakety sax music in the background as Greymane gets away, and they're going to be able to, well, they still have charge, actually, over on the side of the KT-Ls. Speaking of, KT-Ls is trying to find a combo, and Tatski is not going to get picked off as they end up turning it around, and that will be Kagirii finding the kill. LeonBlack taking some of the minions on a bit of an adventure just to de-aggro them from the core itself, or the wave that was right there, just to kind of let the mini wave also speed things up for them. But 87%, KT-Ls back up in 46 seconds. No phylactery stacks to bring him back into this game. Also, for anyone that is wondering, any questing talent that is currently on the board has been finished. So if anyone is wondering what Ariel's is, or Garrosh is, or Blaze, or Master of the Cold Dark, all of that has been finished out, so they have that maximized. But now, Paradox, they're going to be pushing into bottom lane with a Trigla Protector that could potentially end the game. They're actually going to cycle in some different heroes inside of this. Yeah, okay.
So primarily what you'll do and when you are switching heroes around in the Protector, normally what you want to do is you want to put in the Protector people who are going to that you're not going to need for that team fight, or people whose roles don't shift that much. For example, the driver is often a tank, so you normally will put a tank as the driver, while your off one is usually a range, because you do range. In this case, they put a healer and a range in there, which means they want to play more aggressive. They want to have their tank still available, and they want to make sure that they have that sustained damage still available. They feel like they probably won't need healing immediately, because that it gives some shields, and they just want to play aggressive, and that's exactly what they're doing. But it is getting a little scary. They're all getting a little low on health, and they won't have a healer until that Protector drops, or until they hop out of the Protector. Yeah, so it's getting a little sketchy.
They stepped up to that core thinking they were going to be able to try and make something happen right there. Absorption going to be used by the Yrel. Ardent Defender kicking on in just in time. KT-Ls finds a combo and is going to be able to get 1 kill onto Garrosh. Yrel going to be forcing them back. Jet Propulsion from the Blaze narrowly missing Vespertine, but they're trying to make their way out of this as the... Oh, that's a really good rocket glove. The Turk is trying to chase Tatski, and I don't think they're going to be able to get it. Yrel just trying to disrupt and hold them back. They also have to realize that when this drops out, this will be an Ariel as well as a Li Ming over here, and Ariel can resurrect the Garrosh. So if they're able to get that immediately, watch Lakefu going to be able to get that channel. Ooh, they end up finding the Blaze kill. This is such a turnaround. Tatski actually Hearth back, going to deal with all the stuff in the top lane, and it looks like they might be able to... If they get a kill onto Alex, this is definitely them ending game, but I don't even know if they even need the kill onto Alex. They might be able to step up to the core. Without Raynor, it's a little rough, and that's why I think you're seeing them come across the mini-map. This is an awkward spot to be in.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be. I mean, this is it. I mean, unless something really crazy happens, we've got Alex just trying to clear up some of the catapults, but there's still 2 more catapults that are. Oh no, those are allied catapults. Wait, there's 1 kill, but I mean that's even a Hyperion on core. So there's.
If Tatski didn't make the rotation back, I think this would have been a different situation due to the fact that Greymane got back and immediately got a kill, and they would have had that momentum behind them to be able to chase in further. So this was really, really well played, but KT-Ls, they're going to take this in a 2-0 fashion.
KT-Ls gets it. That is GG. And we have, honestly, I mean, that was a crazy game. So as far as the stats go, really quick, let's just share a little bit. Bad orb build, Li Ming, 0 deaths, 9 kills, 75,000 damage coming out from Kagirii. And it was terrifying. I mean, Joanna and Blaze don't have a lot of things to dodge that. They're constantly just hitting the orbs, trying to save their team, making sure that their team's not hitting those orbs. And Brightwing just couldn't keep up with that healing, even though Brightwing's healing was about the same as Ariel. They just didn't have the same amount of damage coming out on the opposite side. Plus, the targets that they would focus and kill immediately rezzed, and then they just immediately had to fight an uneven comp. I believe this was another example of they didn't really know the meta enough to try to draft like meta draft, and they picked heroes that they were comfortable with. They picked heroes that they enjoyed playing, but that they lost that meta draft again. Yrel still went to Liam. Leon got Garrosh, which was his main for the longest time. For 2.5 years it was his main. And they got Ariel. They got all the pieces they needed again. So as much as I want to say it was all gameplay, I think both teams played pretty well. I just honestly think that KT-Ls just dominated that draft.
Yeah, just that Dark Horse, the entire team of Dark Horse is coming in here, and I'll be honest, like they played this so well. But as I was saying, like Vespertine, there's no way you get that Yrel in the future weeks. Like if I watch these matches and whoever I go up against next week, they should do their homework and be like, all right, that's a ban right there. We need to make sure we're going to force them onto a different hero because they are comfortable. Like that whole sustained fight in bottom lane, I'd never see things like that. That Yrel should have been and usually gets punished 100 times over.
Oh yeah.
Somehow, some way, that's not going to be the case. But
so we do have winners.
Yeah.
And we will be doing a winners interview. So would we like to get into that right now? I think
I was just about to say I'm ready to ask these players some questions.
Yeah.
We're all here.
Hi.
Talking to the members of the KT-Ls. How are you feeling after your 2-0 dominance?
Pretty cool. Yeah, super pumped. So cool.
Now, I want to say something before we get into this really quickly. I looked over at Twitch chat, and there was someone in Twitch, I think it was 8S, was Tatski got picked off at one point, and I just looked over and it says, I can hear Tatski from Twitch chat saying sorry about dying. Was that the case? Or was the top lane?
Yes. It was, wait, can I, it was like,
absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. That's exactly what it was. It was cute.
It was kind of like that.
But there were some strong games. Paradox, do you have any questions to start us off?
I mean, we just played this game, and ultimately, I think the draft was a huge part of these games. What were you guys thinking in draft? What pieces were you looking for? Do you feel you got the drafts that you were looking for this last game and then the game before that? I mean, was there anything that you wanted to get that you just didn't get, or how did you guys feel about the drafts?
We pretty much got everything we wanted. We kind of played a couple hours prior to playing today, so we knew what everybody liked and what everybody wanted, and we just prayed that they didn't ban it. But we pretty much got everything we wanted.
That's awesome. I mean, was there any moment in this last game that you guys were worried? I mean, there was a good objective they got. They took fort, they took keep, they pressured. Was there a point that you guys were really worried, or do you feel like you kind of just had it for the most part? I mean, what were the parts that kind of had you going a little bit?
We were really worried about the backline dive. That was mine and Tatski. We were honestly freaking out about the backline dive, but Leon and Liam are just really good at knowing what's going on in the team fight and watching all 5 of us or all 4 of us so that like we can, mitigate any type of dive on us squishies, and so we can put out the most DPS as well.
Definitely. Baha, any questions for him?
I want to know a little bit of what are your comms like in some of these situations? Because there was a lot of back and forth. Like I think a good example is bottom lane when you were pushing with the Trickle Protector and you were going for the first opportunity to end, and then the Trickle Protector got whittled down very, very far, and it kind of hung around that like 1 to 2% health bar for quite some time. What are comms like in that situation? Is it Liam just saying like, I got this, like just keep throwing in damage? Can you talk about like how you kind of brought that back? Because it seemed a little chaotic, but it also seemed like you were in control. Like it was like controlled spin in a sense.
Does anybody else want to say? Go ahead, Tatski.
I mean, Leon and Liam are so chilling and cool and collective, but like, I don't know. I was terrified of Coffee like comboing with Kel'Thuzad because that just hits you in the face like a brick. So it was kind of just like, don't let Coffee near me, get him away. And yeah, just other than that, it gets pretty hectic. But yeah,
there was one point that Liam had us. I can't remember if it was Liam or Leon who told us to swap out. So we had Ariel in the Protector with me, and at one point I think it was Leon who died, or one of them died. I can't remember. It was like
Leon died.
Yeah, and then they immediately someone said, you know what, swap Ariel out because she has her ult up and bring me back. And so Tatski threw out her ult, we swapped Tatski for Ariel, and it just kind of worked.
It definitely worked really well.
It definitely did work. One last question on my end, then we'll get to shout outs and everything else. But so game 1, they ended up picking a full dive composition. I mean, what was going through the comms right then? Were you guys just like, okay, we need to adjust this so we all don't get jumped on? Like, what were you guys thinking when they ended up just taking that full dive comp?
Well, you mean the dive comp against us?
Yes.
If we were scared or anything? Yeah. Well, I mean, we were scared. We were scared the entire time.
Yeah.
But we had actually played that comp prior to starting the actual tournament. So we were pretty savvy on what would happen if we were to get dived. And like I said, Liam and Leon they're just so freaking good at tanking.
Yeah.
It was. I just felt very safe. I could put out
protect
and
that's
attack.
why
I took Cleansing Flame that game just so I could get off the map, so it's one less person for them to be able to kill, and then I'd just focus on whoever was getting dived with the heals. So that seemed to work out pretty well.
It was such an entertaining series. Now, going into next week, you're going to be going up against Team D, or as we also know them now as Down to Dongle, the repeated champions, these people that are supposedly really, really good that don't even need to play Heroes of Storm for a week. They can play Dragon Ball, and they're just fine, apparently. What are you worried at all? Are you excited about that matchup? Is there anything you're going to work on to maybe, no spoilers or anything like that, but is there anything you're going to be prepping against a team like that has a bit of prowess and might just be carrying one member?
I've watched them. I've watched them play multiple times, and they usually pick pretty wonky comps. Not straight meta, but meta that has worked in the past. It's weird. They pick the weirdest things. So I think I'm just gonna be ready. We're just gonna be ready for that. I'm pretty sure, and I think I know what all of them play. So Lakefu, Tatski, you guys know what they play, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So you're saying it's gonna be easy GG next week? No problem.
I'm not saying that. I'm not gonna jinx us. Tatski!
It was Leon!
Well, thank you all so much for the interview. Before we let you run out of here, are there any shoutouts that you guys would like to quickly give?
Shoutouts to Leon and Liam! They're so good. Also, shoutouts to Heroes Hearth. And you guys for casting. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much, and enjoy your victory this evening, and we look forward to seeing you all next week up against Team Down to Dongle.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
But Paradox, that was a fun matchup, and I keep seeing in chat, was that the only match we have this evening?
That is not the only match we have this evening. We will be doing one more. Yes, we will be doing Team B and Team D, which they have chosen their names. So we will be seeing Easy Money versus Down to Dongle. And some of the quick peaks of those teams that we might be seeing is Mockery, Zanehyde, Tim from Hero of Fitness, Kid Kerrigan, Kyle Ferguson on Easy Money. Down to Dongle, Kyberries, Trixler, Selenity, Vipey, and Casanova. Remember, Down to Dongle is undefeated in the Celebrity Fight Nights. So 2 pretty interesting teams that we're going to be seeing up next after short break. But before we get into that, again, I do just want to mention our sponsor one more time, Duke Cannon, the manly yet sophisticated hygiene company. You can check out some of their awesome stuff, like their famous big ass bar of soap, which is seriously, it's like, I don't know, this big. It's like really big. And they've got a bunch of different flavors of that. They also have just a bunch of other really cool things. There is also a giveaway going on. So if you would like to enter that giveaway, we will be having that later today. I'm not 100% sure when we're doing the actual giveaway.
We'll be drawing at the break. So
at the break,
if you have mentioned Dude Soap in chat, or if you haven't, you should, so that way you're entered in and you'll be randomly chosen. You also need to be a U.S. citizen or resident of the U.S., excuse me, and you also need to be in chat and probably responding to the people who are asking you where they can send all this information. So that's going to be drawn up very soon. But yeah, I think we have to get ready for our next best of 3.
Definitely. So we are going to leave you guys for just a little bit. We are going to go to break, and we will be back before you know it and getting into these next 2 games. Thank you guys, and stay tuned.